Three, two, one, and welcome on this last day of January 2023. Wow, it's already been the whole first month of the year, and we're ready to the rest of the year. And today, in our virtual facilitation practice, we want to welcome you. Thank you for being here. And I'd like to welcome a friend, a colleague, and I would say also a mentor because he initiated me into this a lot of the usage of digital tools in the physical environment back in, I don't know, 2013, 2014. The first time Alex did a workshop in the Americas when we met in Florida, I think, in the
Yeah,
Dali
Dali
Museum. It was in the
Museum.
Dali
Yeah,
Museum. So it was a very surreal experience, I have to say, using technology in a physical environment, trying to figure out how to make it happen. It was very surreal, but it was very productive. And it was a relationship that continued all the way to today. And I'm very happy and very proud because Alex made me challenge myself on how to facilitate, I have to say.
I didn't
Um,
know that. Thank you for
yeah,
saying
you
that.
did. Yeah, you did actually. Because the thing is, before I was trying to you like doing the physical things in the virtual environment the same way, but there are many things that the digital environment can help you and do in a very different way. So I think that made me challenge me to reframe my way of thinking in terms of technology in the session in a facilitated session and in the online environment fully as well. Because now we're all what to say digital natives because we have to be because of the pandemic. Now we were forced, and Alex was at the forefront, I would say, because he was there before we all were there. He
Yeah,
was thinking
COVID
about
did
doing.
what I tried to do during 8 years, trying to convince people that you could do some things online. And I was not very successful. And then in 2 years, everything changed. And by the
Just a
way, I hope you learned something else from me. Do you still know how to facilitate with a French accent now?
not that much. I'm
Ah,
still I'm still trying.
okay,
I'm still trying.
okay,
I'm having
okay.
issues. The thing is the and all that. It's difficult to replicate. It's very difficult to replicate. I'm trying.
Especially mine. Mine is very strong.
Yours
Yeah. And sorry,
definitely.
by the way,
So,
to everyone, you're going to have to endure my terrible French accent. And yeah, you can leave if you
uh,
want.
welcome, Alex. And Alex has been a presenter and a workshop facilitator in many conferences across the globe, and also in not only facilitation conference but also learning conferences and creative conference as well. He's based in the United in France, but he also lived in the United States, so he knows the American environment as well. So feel free to punch all the questions because he's going to be very happy to respond. So please, Alex, the floor is yours. You've been working with a digital tool for more than what, 12 years, 15 years?
11.
11,
Yeah.
11 years
So
now.
yeah, it's a long time for a small company. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I don't know where all of you are located, but I'm really happy to meet some of you. I'm really happy if I can see your face, maybe even briefly open your video feed so that I can see you, I can smile at you. That would be great. And if you cannot, it's all right. So my name is Alexandre Eisenchteter. Everyone calls me Alex. That's much simpler. I'm a facilitator. I'm a professional facilitator since 2012. I've been facilitating hundreds of workshops since that time. And one of my specialties is using digital tools to do that. So I do a lot of large group meetings, in-person workshops with hundreds of participants in the same room. I also do a lot of remote workshops, which is not really original nowadays, but in 2012 it was. And that's one of the reasons why I created Stormz. And Stormz is a micro software company, and because I like micro company, and I created this software in 2012 to be able to do the kind of workshop I wanted to do, mainly creative problem solving sessions, basically brainstorming, idea generation, divergence and convergence, and also doing a lot of decision making. So This is the software that I invented more than 10 years ago. And it's a software that we have just released a new version publicly, I don't know, 1 week or 2 weeks ago. I don't want to talk too much, but how many of you right now? Something like 17 of you. And I'd like to know why you are here today. And it's also an excuse to play with the tools. So I'm going to share a link in the chat of Zoom. What is the name of the software? Stormz. You're going to see that right now. Like a storm with a Z at the end. So with this link, you can join an activity that I've prepared for you. You don't have to create an account at this time, Storm with a Z. And you don't have to create an account, so you just have to put your pseudo and you will get inside what is called the event in Stormz. You're going to see a tile that is called You Are the Hero, and you will be the one to be the heroes. So just click on this tile and you will see a first question. And the question is, why are you here today? And what are your expectations for this webinar? Okay, so by the way, I didn't tell you, but if you're one of the dinosaurs that still use Internet Explorer, you shouldn't use Internet Explorer with Stormz. So normally you should see this red area with your expectations. And the way to add an expectation is you add an expectation on a digital Post-it note. We call that a card. And you click on the little plus button. Oh, this is my French accent. On the plus button. And you write down your expectation and you click on save and it's going to send the card. At first, you're going to see only your own ideas because I don't want you to be influenced and I want to keep a surprise effect also. So, but me, I can see everything. This is what is cool about Stormz is as a facilitator, you feel a little bit like a supreme spirit. You can see everything before the others. So let me see. Oh, I see that someone want to have fun. Hector, can we have fun? Can you prepare some jokes, please?
Hey, some jokes.
Yeah, because someone want to have fun. So.
Okay. Well.
By the way, yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, by the way, anyone having any issues going inside the software or adding a card?
Yes, Alex, I cannot get connected. We have a very poor connection here in Iran.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can share your screen so we can see what is happening there. Is it possible?
Yes, I'll do that. I just want to keep my little surprise. Oh, no, okay, no problem. No problem. I do that right now.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. By the way, now that if you have added your expectation for today, you can go back to Zoom and have a look. And what I wanted to show you is show you all your ideas as a word cloud like that. So the good thing is that a lot of you are in your expectation are using the word Stormz, which is great because this is the software I know the most about, and also learn. So you are here to learn something. And I'll see also, so you can see in real time some new stuff arriving. It's also about facilitation. So I'd like to see a little bit more about the facilitation. So someone wants to know new stuff in facilitation. So you see, I can click on a word and I see the cards. Someone wants to learn about this software to see if you can use it in your facilitation. Great. You know what? I'm going to zoom a little bit. What about client? Interested in learning more about Stormz and how I might be able to apply it with clients. Interested in new software to support creativity and engagement online with client groups. Refresh, I'm curious about this one. Someone want to refresh his skills on VF. What is VF?
Virtual facilitation, probably.
That was Carla. Virtual, sorry. Yeah, I should have the reflex for that. Okay, so you see the word cloud, we call that the insight cloud. It's cool when you have a lot of insights. Right now we don't have a lot, but I wanted to see it that way. And the cool thing is that it's a view that is a working view. You can click on it, look at the cards, and do whatever you can with the software. Let's get back to the board view and let's have a look at everything. So learn about Stormz, network, know more about Stormz in action, the new capabilities of Stormz. Oh, by the way, who knew about Stormz before this meeting? No one? Okay. So this is one of the characteristics of Stormz, is that we have been very low profile since 10 years. We are a micro company. We have €0 marketing budget per year. So it's not a lot. And we only thrive thanks to word of mouth. And as we are also a small team, we don't need to make billions of dollars every year. Anyway, what can be done in Stormz that is not possible in other platform, you'll see that Stormz is a very different tool from whiteboard application. So there are some stuff that we can do much better. There are some stuff that we cannot do. So the two tools complement each other. Innovative use of tech, keep learning every time I have the opportunity. That's great. Consider alternative to Zoom for remote meeting platforms. So Stormz is not an alternative to Zoom. It's more an alternative to Miro, Mural, and this kind of software. So you still have to use Zoom or a video conferencing tool. I want to learn more about tools for virtual facilitation, network, meet new facilitators, and introduction to Stormz. So there is the networking part. I'm not sure I'm going to meet this expectation. So in order to meet a little bit this expectation, maybe we'll add some part where you can, maybe we'll do some breakouts at some point where you can debrief what you have seen in smaller groups. This way you will be also able to network with other people and we can meet that expectation. Okay, guys? Hector and Fernando, can you monitor the chat to make sure that I'm not missing anything? Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm on it.
Okay. So the way that I'd like to facilitate this webinar is that first, I'm going to do a quick demo of the Stormz tool so that you can see briefly in 10 minutes what it is all about, the main features and the main paradigm. And you will see that it's a completely different paradigm from the tools that you are using, Mural, Miro, and whiteboard applications. Okay, so so that once you have done that tour, you will be able to tell me the kind of thing that you'd like to learn and go more in depth. So in the second part, you will be the hero and you will be the one to tell me what you would like to see next. So you're going to send me some proposal. We're going to vote on that proposal and I'm going to do the most voted proposal. And we do that until we don't have enough time. Okay. And at the end, we'll finish by a debrief in smaller breakouts so that you have the opportunity to speak with your colleagues, to network a little bit and to debrief about what you've learned during this session. For those of you who have a video feed, thumbs up, thumb down. Is it okay for everyone? Yeah. And you can also use the reaction in Zoom if you want. Okay, let's go for the demo. Alors, I'm going to share my screen again. And we're going to do it a little bit differently this time. So on the left side of the screen, you're going to have the screen of Alex. Alex is the facilitator. And it's a normal browser. It's just that I have shrink it. Okay. On the right side of my screen, you have Isabelle, a participant. And in this demo, we'll be using an example of a fictional aerospace company that is called Skydro. And they're doing a strategy workshop. It's a strategy workshop that is designed as a 7-step process. First, we'll do a SWOT analysis. Then we will develop strategic initiatives. And finally, they'll take a decision on the one initiative that they would like to launch. Okay, so let's say that everyone is in the room. By the way, this workshop would work online, remote, with a small group or with a large group. It would work quite well. Of course, you would have to make some adjustments depending on how you'd like to do it. It would even work asynchronously or hybrid. Anyway, okay, so let's get started. We start with a SWOT, and instead of doing everything at once, the way that I have designed the thing is that first we do strengths and weaknesses. And you see that on Isabelle's screen, she can only see the strengths and the weaknesses. Okay, you can also see that Isabelle has already added a few ideas, and you can see that Alex can see much more. So as a facilitator, I can see all the ideas if I want. And the way I set it up for the participant at this time is that they can only see their own ideas to avoid being influenced by the ideas of everybody. Adding an idea is super easy. As you have seen yourself, you just click on the button and you add your idea and you click on save. And this is why Stormz is so easy for first-time participants. The only thing that they have at their disposal is the buttons that they need for the task that they need to do. So right now, they only need to add strengths and weaknesses, so we have 2 buttons. Okay, so let's say now that everyone has added all their ideas. Now it's time to move on to step 2. And moving from one step to the other, super easy. So look here on my facilitator screen. I just have to click on this button. I validate. And now I'm in the next step of my process, which is opportunities and threats. As you can see on Isabelle's screen, it has been updated instantly. She is now in step 2. And she has the instructions for step 2 on the right side of her screen. Okay, so this step is pretty similar to the previous one. They can add cards, so I won't do it. But you can see that now she can only see the opportunities and threats. So as a facilitator, if you prepare everything before, during the workshop, the only thing you have to do is facilitate your workshop and go from one step to the other, okay? And you control everything that the participant can see. Here, there is absolutely no risk that Isabelle puts something in strength, for example, because there is no way to see the strength column. Okay, again, I can see everything. And now, let's say that we have finished, everybody has voted. Now we can go to the next step. So again, next step, go to step 3. And again, it updates the participant screen instantly. And here you can see that we can see the 4 quadrants of the SWOT matrix. So here, the instruction is voting. And I've set up as a facilitator a voting dynamic where they can allocate 100 points across the different cards to indicate the most important ones. So voting is very easy. You click on a card. You have a voting widget here. You see that Isabel has 100 points remaining, and she can put the full 100 points on one card. Everything you see here, you can set it up and customizing it depending on the kind of voting dynamic and voting mechanic that you'd like to have for the activity. So here, let's say that she put 20 points on this one. Okay, 22 points. And then let's say that, yeah, this
Alex,
one
there's
is
a
very,
question there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm listening.
DJ, yeah, DJ is asking, is the 100 points for each quadrant or 100 points for all the 4 quadrants?
So good question. The budget is for all the quadrants. The budget is for all the cards that you can see on the screen.
But also you can vote on the quadrants themselves. In the
Okay, yeah,
clusters.
there is also a possibility. Yeah, I cannot show you all the settings. There are hundreds of settings if you want to go in depth,
Yeah.
but there is also the possibility to vote on the quadrants, which wouldn't make sense in this workshop because you won't vote on opportunities or strengths. But in some case, for brainstorming, it would perfectly make sense to vote on what we call the clusters. The clusters are the groups of cards. Here they are shown as a quadrant, but you can very easily change that if you want to columns or stuff like that.
There's another question from DJ in the chat.
Yep.
She's asking if what if participants have an idea for a previous screen after it's moved into the next step? What happens then?
Well, if you want to change the rules during a step, it's not really a problem. You can change the design on the fly. So here I would go into my step 3. I'm going to edit the different settings and I'm going to give them the possibility to add a card. I'm going to save and now they have a plus button. So,
or you can add it as well as a facilitator with your
the other
powers,
possibility, that is if you change your mind and you say, okay, you can add cards. And the other possibility, as a facilitator, you can always add cards or add clusters or modify stuff or delete stuff. So you have superpowers. So if someone tells you, I really like to have this opportunity, you can add it for this person. Or you change your settings, as I just shown you, which takes 5 seconds. I'm good? Yeah, okay. So so now Isabel has voted, everyone has voted. Let's move on to the next step and let's have a look at the result of the voting session. So this is another difference with the, so one of the expectation was understand the difference between the Stormz and the other tools. So the voting dynamics and the richness of the different possibilities for the voting dynamics is one of the difference with Miro, Mural, and all the whiteboard applications. You can simulate a lot of different voting dynamics. The other thing is this kind of graph where you can analyze the result of a vote visually, and you can also analyze the breakdown of the votes. So for example, here I have all the different ideas and I can click on one. And here I see that it was 68 points, but only 2 voters. And one of the voter put about 50 points and another one of the voter less than 20 points. So you can analyze the breakdown, discuss if an idea was top voted because it had a lot of voters, or maybe because one voter put a lot of points on it, and you can discuss all of that. Then I'm going to go to the next step. So now I have my SWOT matrix and I have detected the priorities. So now it's time to create the different initiatives. So I go to the next step, and now I have prepared the new board. So you can see that I still have my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You can see that the cards are sorted by score. For example, 23 points for this one, 17 points for this one, etc. And the goal for the participant is to create initiative cards. What are the strategic initiatives that this company is going to do next year? Here in my demo, they have already put some idea for initiatives, but it's not only about putting one sentence. We want a real detail for the initiative. So all you have to do is click on a card. Let's say that Isabel is now in a breakout with 2 other people, and you ask them to develop. Whoa. Is that a question?
No.
So let's say that she needs to develop a strong brand identity and develop the initiative. You see that as a facilitator, I've prepared a framework for developing each initiative in detail. I can put all the objectives. I can brainstorm potential blockers. I can brainstorm resources and first steps. Again, this is fully customizable. And here you see an example of an initiative card that was fully developed. So you can see the level of detail that you can have. So imagine you have a group of 20 or 50 participants. They brainstorm initiatives and you put them in 10 breakouts, each one of the breakout developing one initiative like that. At the end, you have a very detailed initiative. You have 10 very detailed initiative cards that you can debrief all together. Okay. Okay, let's say now that they have detailed all their initiatives and maybe they have presented the initiative to the rest of the participants. Now it's time to take a decision on the one that they really launch next year. And for that, they're going to use a very powerful tool that is called a multiple criteria evaluation. Okay. So in this example, they're going to evaluate each one of the initiative along 2 criteria. Is it worth doing it? And can they win? Do they have the resources and the expertise to succeed? Everything again, in all these criteria are totally customizable. You can customize the title, you can customize the scale, you can customize the label for each one of the points in the scale. And it's important because if you want to do a multiple criteria evaluation the right way, fine-tuning the scale is and explaining the scale and selecting the criteria is very important. But we're not gonna do that for this demo. So let's say that Isabel is evaluating the first card, the first initiative, the second one, the third one, this one too. And here you have an example of a card that has been fully developed. So she would be able to look at all the details, to remember the presentation, and then doing the evaluation. So this is a very powerful tool that then you need to debrief. And again, we're using a visual graph to take that decision. So here we have only 2 criteria. So if you had a third one, it would do a bubble chart. The more the initiative is on the right, the more it is worth doing it. The more it is on the top, the more it is feasible. They have the resources. And we see that here we might have an initiative that might be a win. It seems that it is worth doing it and they have the resources and expertise. But first of all, they have to check if there is a consensus.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Alex. If you can just increase a little bit the zoom because it's a little bit small. But
yeah, you can do that.
That's a good thing that you can increase it then. Thank you.
So these are the different initiatives on the graph. When you click on one, you're able to see the detail. And you see for each one of the criteria, you see if there is a consensus or not. Here, 3 of them had put a 3 and 1 of them has put a 4. So it's a strong consensus that it's worth doing it. For other cards, it might be different. For this one, there is a strong consensus that it is not worth doing it. But for this one, you see that there is no consensus. So as a facilitator, this is a great opportunity to facilitate a debate in the room between the participants to understand why some of them think it's really worth doing it and why some others do not think it is worth doing it. And then you can finally reach a consensus and take the decision. So this is the demo that I wanted to show you. In just 7 simple steps, all the participants, it could have been 50, 40, 100 people, whatever you want. All the participants, they were able to brainstorm together on the strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities. They were able to prioritize the most important items. They were able to deduct and formulate some initiatives and detail all these initiatives. And finally, with the multiple criteria evaluation, decide on the one that they're going to launch. So all that, it was very easy to do with a tool like Stormz, because everything, if I show you the facilitator screen, everything was prepared, all the steps. It's a little bit like you using Session Lab, to design your workshop with the different steps. Well, you do quite the same within Stormz. You prepare everything, and for each one of the steps, you decide what the participant can do, what they cannot do, what they can see, what they cannot see. You have seen from my example, and it was one of the questions that you can also change on the fly if you need, because this is real life. You prepare something and then you have to change, but it's not a problem. But anyway, first of all, the more you prepare, the more you don't have any stress manipulating the tool during the workshop. You can focus on the conversation and the facilitation. And also for the participant, look how it is simple to use. There is no zooming in, zooming out. There is nothing to say, don't put cards on this one, it's going to be for later. You don't have to lock things. You don't have to make sure that all the participants are on the good place, on the right place and right location within the board. You don't have to worry that they click on the wrong button, because you show only what they need to see, and you show only the features that they need to use. So basically, that was the quick demo that I wanted to do. Do we have questions on the chat right now? Unanswered questions? I see
Go
that.
ahead, Petram.
Yeah.
Petram has his hands raised. Please go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Alex. It is fascinating. And I just want to know if it's possible to use it in other languages. Does it support other languages?
So it's a very good question. What language are you interested in?
It is Persian.
Oh, so it's not available in this language. We have several languages available. So first of all, you have to most of the language that participants are going to see is language that is either put by the facilitator or by the participants. The only language that is a language that is dependent on the interface are, for example, step here, add a cluster. Otherwise, on this screen, for participants, everything else will be put by either by you or the participant, okay? This being said, we have an English version, we have a French version, we have a Spanish version. We have to update some of these languages because the V2 is very new, and we still have to update the language for the version 2. And also, if you desperately need another language, it's developed by the community. The Spanish version has been made by Hector, for example. So it's very easy. We can give you a file with all the locale in English, and you can give it back to us, translate it, and we can implement it very quickly. Sorry, it was a long answer to a quick question. Did I answer? Is it okay?
Yes, thank you very much. Perfect.
We have another question here from Laura in the chat. She's asking if can you store results in a way that the team can access them later?
Yeah, sure. So basically, here I've shown you live, synchronously in real time, but Stormz can be used asynchronously. So at the end of a workshop, for example, you could make all the information available. So let's say that I'm going to add a final step. And in this final step, I'm going to show everything. So as you can see, this is typically the kind of thing that I could have at the end of a workshop. All the strengths, weaknesses, initiative, opportunities, and threats available for the participants, and they can come back to it later on and have a look and click on the card and see everything. So if you want them to have access to all the data after the workshop, you can create a specific step where all the information is available. The other thing is that you can export the data as an Excel file very quickly. And it's a great export because it's much more, it's very structured. I can show it to you. So the Excel export will contain absolutely all the data for the workshop, the voting, who has voted what, all the details, everything is available in different worksheets. I'm sorry, my Excel is taking a lot of time to load.
Well, you have to be as a facilitator. It's normally you don't have this kind of all this detailed access. So it's like Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. So be careful who you share the information, because sometimes the anonymity is important for a group when you're voting stuff like that. But you do have access to everything, right?
Like here you have access to everything, including who created which card. So you should edit the file before you send it to the participants. But you see that you have absolutely everything. You have for each one of the user, you know how many points they put on each one of the card, the voting, the rating. For the rating, you have the standard deviation. So all the statistics are available within the Excel file. So that's another way that you can share some information with the participants. The Excel file is mostly used to prepare a report for the final customer. Yeah, so I see. Hector, can you do ask the question?
Yeah.
If there are some more questions. And I see also that Andrew would like to raising the hand.
Yeah. Let's go first with Andrew, and then I have another question here.
Okay.
So I had two very quick questions. One is, what if you work in Teams rather than Zoom? Is that a problem, or it shouldn't be? But I just wanted to ask. Yeah.
No, you can use. So as you can see, there are no integrations. You just put a link inside the chat, and people will open their browser and use it in their browser.
Okay. The other question is this. I work a lot in hybrid. So sometimes I get to use, like what you have behind you, real good old Post-its. Now, I was just this afternoon looking at an app by Post-it itself, which makes you from your smartphone photograph the post-its, and it automatically translates them into a digital form. And I was seeing it was very good in the OCR in translating them well, even though they were handwritten. Now, do you have something of this sort of thing? Because Post-it would then share them, but I didn't have time to look at exactly with whom and in what format.
Yeah, so if this app is exporting the data in a CSV format, then you can clean that CSV and import it in Stormz. So there is a way to import cards. So if I go into my options here, you see import. You can import a CSV file, and this CSV file will import all the cards automatically. Okay, so this would be one way to do it. We do not have, for the moment, we do not have an integration or an app like that would do it directly. And in my own facilitation agency, we do a lot of mixing high-tech and low-tech, and we generally don't reintegrate all the post-it notes in Stormz. We usually, if we use post-it notes, it means that we want to diverge a lot, but we don't need to capture everything. And then we ask them to do something else in Stormz, maybe to converge before and to put in Stormz only the top ideas. And this would be the participant who would do that. I have an example just to show you a video of how you would use Stormz one way, because there are several ways to use Stormz in in-person setting. So here we had different groups, and you see that not only they have post-it notes on their table to be able to do brainstormings, but they also had a big screen with Stormz, and only one of them was taking notes on Stormz and using a board. I'm sorry, the quality is not really good. But, and you see you have post-its on the wall too. So we are really combining everything and using the best tool depending on what we are trying to achieve.
So you had like 4 screens there?
Yeah, 4 big screens. You don't have, it's quite a luxury setup. You don't have to have big screens
it's
like that.
Yeah, you're making us feel like, oh, I want one of that.
You have many ways to use Stormz. You can use iPads. The good thing about the new version of Stormz is, and it's really good on mobile phones. So let me simulate a mobile phone. I can simulate a mobile phone like that. If I do this, up. So even as a facilitator, you can access everything like that, all the options. So you can facilitate from your phone. So you can be in a room with 50 participants, and you can really show off with your phone and change a step in front of everyone just by touching your phone. But the participant can also add cards just from their phone. It works perfectly. Even remember the word cloud I showed you at the beginning? That would work really well on a smartphone. So everything works on a smartphone. So it means that I've shown you a luxury setup. That a cheaper setup would be to ask the participant to use their phones, or maybe to have 1 laptop per group of 4 or 5 participants. It really depends. So from a technology point of view, you have the choice. But in fact, it really depends on what you're trying to achieve, okay? You won't use phone if you want something that is collaborative, because you don't want everyone to have a nose inside their phone. You want phone if the voting, it's very important that the voting is individual. So maybe they use their phone for 5 minutes, and then maybe there is 1 laptop per group of 5, and they develop initiatives by discussing all together and having 1 secretary put everything on the laptop. So It really depends what you want to achieve.
Good.
There's several questions in the
Yeah.
chat. I would like to go for the last one that I wasn't able to. Actor is asking if we'd like to share about the available templates.
Okay, so yeah, we have several templates. I think we have more than 40 templates. I can show you that for different kind of activities. So when you create a Stormz, you can create a workshop from scratch, or you have a library of templates, which you have templates for brainstorming, different brainstorming techniques, which is kind of I'm a geek when it comes to brainstorming techniques and ideation techniques, business, SWOT and stuff like that, creative problem solving. So these are very sophisticated templates for the different step of the CPS methodology, decision making. So the multiple criteria evaluation is really the most, it could have been a different app. Design thinking, we do some stuff, but I mean, if you want to do a customer journey, Stormz is not the right tool. Okay, that would be a whiteboard application because you can put everything on a big whiteboard, put some arrows and diagram it. But if you need at some point in your design thinking project to do a brainstorming, diverge with a lot of ideas and converge and take a decision on the prototype to develop, Stormz is the good tool. You have lots of icebreakers, project management. You can formulate a plan, or there is a workshop called Assisters and Resistors, which is to analyze the stakeholders that you need to succeed in your project. Stormz is very good for retrospectives, you know, stop, keep, start and stuff like that, or gather feedback from the audience and do stuff like that. So these are the templates, but honestly, once you understand Stormz, it's very easy to create a workshop very quickly. Compared to a whiteboard application, you have to spend a lot of time dealing with the visual aspect. Here, you don't have to align stuff. You don't have to worry about the font. The only thing you have to worry about is the design of your session. Do I want them to create cards and then to converge, or do I want them to be able to diverge? So real facilitator decisions. And once you have done your design, it's very easy to go and create your workshop yourself, and it will be a fully customized workshop. Creating a workshop is just, you open your step builder and you say, okay, first I want people to add cards, and then I want people to vote on the cards, and then I want to show the result of a thing. I'm removing the basic step. And voila, I have my workshop that is ready. So they can add card in the first step. Then I go to my second step and they can vote on it. And then I go to my third step and I can show the result of the vote. I've created a workshop which is perfectly viable for a lot of situations in less than 15 seconds. So the templates are good as example, but once you've trained into Stormz, you'll see that you're not going to have a look at the templates. You're going to build directly within Stormz because it's very easy. I see that Hector was ejected outside. So, oh, Sabina, you had some problem with my screen sharing?
Yes, it's been blank throughout, so I haven't really gotten a lot of the stuff. So I hope you can share the simulation video. It's still blank. I can only see your face, but not your screen.
I'll try to share again. For all the other participants, was it good enough? Yeah. So I don't know if you can see now, I'm sharing again.
On the purple bar, right?
No.
No, you cannot see. I'm sorry. So
Sorry,
you'll have
maybe it's
the,
my cell phone.
I guess you'll have the recording. Do I have other questions on the chat? If we don't, what we can do is, how much time do we have remaining for this webinar?
Half an hour, Alex.
Okay, so my proposal is that you're going to decide what is the next thing you'd like me to show you in detail. So I'm gonna, again, let's get back here. I'm gonna share the link again in the chat of Zoom so that you can join me. Voila. If you have lost the link, I'm gonna go into the step 2. And you see on the green column, you can propose some topic to discuss next. You see that I've already added some stuff, but in order not to influence you, you'll see that it's the stuff that I propose myself has the little emoji of myself with a little glasses. So can you tell me what you'd like to see next? It can be a demo, an in-depth demo on how I create a workshop on Stormz or a specific type of workshop. I can give you some best practices on how to do decision-making with multiple criteria evaluation. We can discuss converging techniques. We can discuss how to lower the bias during ideation sessions, but these are just examples. I'd love you to give me some ideas of what you'd like to see next. So we have the first one, how do you plan and manage time in Stormz? And for information, I've left the expectation column on the left, so you can, if you don't remember the different expectations, you can read them. Okay, I need some more.
Alex, can I ask a question when people are just shutting down?
Of course you can.
My understanding is that the only person who can see all the information that we have, I mean, the participants have put there is the facilitator, isn't it?
It depends how I set up the step. If I want, I can set up the step in a way that everyone can see all the information. Or if I want, I can filter the information for the participants to see only what I want them to see. It's up to you to decide what they can do and what they can see, but you have the full range of possibilities. Make sense?
Yeah, so for the sake of confidentiality, it's possible to just tell the people that the only person who can have access to information is the facilitator or a certain people, right?
Yeah, exactly. And by default, you see that me as a facilitator, I can see the name. If I click on a card, for example, I know that Hector submitted this card here. Okay, and here you see this button, I can preview like a participant. If I was a participant, I wouldn't see the name. So everything is anonymous for the participants and it's not for the facilitator.
Amazing.
We have other roles. For example, I could give Hector the role of the observer. And as an observer, he will be able to see the name of the participants too. Okay. There is also the role of the co-facilitator, which is the same as observer, plus the ability to move from one step to the other. So it's good if you want to give one of the participants the ability to move from one step to the other, co-facilitator, but without the risk of messing up with your settings. Okay. Well, while I'm doing the explaining the purpose of the different roles, I can answer this card. So the attendee is the standard role, and the attendee can see and can do what you set up for each one of the steps. So it can be a lot of things, or it could be nothing. The observer, you usually give the observer role to the boss, okay? Because the boss, they want to see everything. They want to see the vote before the results. They want to see who created which card, etc. So this is the observer role. They can see everything. They can change the filters. The co-facilitator is, let me show you. So this is Isabelle, and I need to get back to SkyDraw here. So this is Isabelle, and if I give her the role of observer, now she has the bar on the side, and she can change the filters. Okay, so for example, if there was the ability to see only a few clusters, she would have the possibility to change it. What she cannot do is synchronize for all the participants. Okay, so she cannot mess up with your design. Now I'm going to put Isabelle as a co-facilitator. And now she has access to the step here, so she can move to a different step. She can open the step bar and move to step 1 if she wants. But look at the difference. She doesn't have the ability to edit a step, to delete a step, to move, to reorder the different steps. So it's very safe to give that role to someone who is not trained into using Stormz. Okay, so these are the different roles. Again, Stormz is for real-life facilitation. It's the facilitation where you don't want to have stress during the workshop. You want to control what the participant can do and cannot do. You don't want someone else to mess up with your design. So all of that we have taken into account, and it is really built in depth inside the tool.
I think that's one of the things that differentiate from other tools is that the level of control and detail that you can have. In many places, doing this kind of control requires a lot much more effort and working around the tool to make it happen.
When I interviewed my my users, facilitators that use Stormz, and the one thing that they tell me why they use Stormz all the time is that it is very, very easy for first-time participants. You absolutely don't have to train them to use the tool. You invite them, they click on the link, 25 seconds later, they can start working. They add cards, they vote on cards and stuff like that. This is the major difference. They don't have to learn how to zoom in, zoom out, pan in, pan out, pan left, pan right. You as a facilitator, you don't have to rearrange the card manually because you have hundreds of cards on top of the others. They are sorted automatically, and you have all these steps that are prepared in advance. So these are the two things that they really like about the tool. And then you have the powerful features such as the voting dynamics, such as developing a card with a framework inside the card, the multiple criteria evaluation, the graphs, the exports that are very detailed, all of that. But it comes after the fact that it's very easy to use for first-time participants. So let's get back to You Are the Hero. So I have only 3 proposals. Okay, so I can do all of them. I had one about how do I plan and manage time in Stormz. I'm sorry, I'm gonna look. Who was that? Oh, I'm like a participant. Who said that? Fernando, thank you for asking this question. In fact, I don't plan and manage time in Stormz. It's not linked to Stormz. I do all my design on 2 tools. So before I go inside Stormz, I use my paper and I write down a few things. But then I use a diagramming application to do my macro design. So I can show you. Oh, the workshop is recorded. So no, I cannot show you. But I'm using a tool like Whimsical. Maybe I can see a workshop that is open source. No. Okay, so I'm using a tool like Whimsical to diagram my macro design and to the big chunk of timing. And then I'm using Session Lab. And I'm doing all the design of my session on Session Lab. This is where I do the timing because you can change your timings very easily. And once I'm ready and I know exactly what I want to do, I go in Stormz, I open the step builder, and I build my workshop in 10 minutes. Sometimes for a big workshop with 30, 50 people, I can build my workshop. The overall structure of my workshop is built in 10 minutes. And then it's only that I have to take time to formulate the instructions and the questions and the verbatims, but you would have to do that with any kind of tool, even with Post-it notes. So you have to decide what kind of voting dynamic you want. Would you like to do a 100 points? Let me show you, for example, the kind of settings you have for each one of the voting session. You see, you can decide if they vote on cards or on clusters or on both. You have positive points and negative points. Do you give them a budget or unlimited number of points? And once they have a budget, can they put all the budget on one card? Or maybe you want to force them to vote on several cards, so you would put a limit of 40 points. So these are the kind of decisions that you have to make. The best voting dynamic, the best criteria, the best framework that you put inside the card, all of these decisions, but these are micro decisions. Micro decisions that you do once you have the big micro design. And learn new capabilities in Stormz. So many new things in the new version. So the board that you see that is very flexible, that you can transform on the fly like that, add new clusters on the fly. It's very flexible. You can reorder the different stuff. For example, also you can put one of the column full height like that. So you can do some complex board on the fly. Something that a lot of people, I don't think it's very important, but a lot of people were asking for it. You can put custom colors. Voilà. If you're doing a workshop with marketing people, that might be important. You can reorder the cards. So let me show you. You can, one of the new things is that you have different sorting order for the cards. You can sort them by date and the oldest, newest. You can sort them randomly. Random sorting is very important for voting. You don't want to have a voting bias. So with this tool, in one click of a button, you can sort the card randomly so that each one of the participants, they have a different random order. You don't have that on the whiteboard application. You can sort them by votes, if there are some votes, or by the evaluation score. And also the new thing is that you can sort them in a custom way. So you just drag and drop, and you can do your own sorting order. So this is something new. The word cloud, we have some new stuff on the word cloud. You can add cards directly from the word cloud. You select your cluster, you add your card. The word cloud is updated in real time with animation. So that's a wow effect. Always work. You can click on a card and do whatever you want from the word cloud. So this is a new thing too. The sidebar here, the facilitator sidebar is something that is new from V1. And the step builder being able to do everything. And I've shown you that you can just add steps like that. But once you become more acquainted with Stormz, you can even go deeper and you can edit each one of the steps. And this is where you can do a lot of customization. Okay, you don't have to learn that on your first day using Stormz, but you know that you can really customize each one of the steps very precisely. There are some other tools which have a kind of step system like we have, but it's a voting step and show the result step, and you cannot do a step where you add card, comment, and vote at the same time. With Stormz, you can do whatever you want. With this little button here, you can preview like a participant and make sure that the setting is right, because remember, as a facilitator, you can always add card. So you can check if the participant have add card. There is the shared slide. So let me show you here. You can upload images files. So let's say you have a PowerPoint presentation, you can export them as file and then import them all at once in Stormz. And then you have two choices. You can either click and share your screen or click on this button. Let me show you. So this is Isabel. And if I click here, it's going to show the slide on Isabel's screen. And the other possibility is to put some document at the disposal of the participant. Let's say that if they have to do a work that is quite complex and they need to have access to lots of data to be able to do the work, well, you just share the document with them. And now they have access to the document here, and they can have a look at all the figures while they are brainstorming or doing their work. So the slides are something that is new to this version. And many smaller other things, but I don't think we have a lot of time for all of that. How much time do we have now? Yeah, what I think that what we can do now is, you know what I promised at the beginning? Maybe we can, I don't know how many people are still there, but maybe we can divide everyone in group of 3 or 4 and make a little group of discussion. And maybe the idea would be that you discuss what you liked in what you see, what maybe you didn't like, or what surprised you, and share that between you. Would you like to do that? If you're not too shy to speak to other people. Okay, so shall I do the breakout, or you're doing them, Hector?
Are you doing the breakout sector or us?
Yeah.
Because I can, you know, I know the feature.
Breakouts are ready.
Okay, so let's take something like 5 minutes, a quick round. You've made breakout of how many people?
4 and 3.
4 and 3. Okay, so let's take about 5 minutes. You share your thoughts about what you've just seen, what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see next, and whatever. Maybe you can exchange your cat photos too. Let's go.
Okay, so here we go. See you in a bit.
So how was the discussion?
We're
As
getting
short as breakouts always are.
Too short.
A little time.
Yeah, always. I'm sorry. Well, we should have done just a discussion. No demo.
We
of
needed,
Stormz.
we need Stormz to be there to just jot down what are our positive and negative points. It was the only missing point.
I could have done that. Yeah, sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hector, I'm speaking to Hector Ramos this time.
Yeah.
Do you remember V1 And what do you think of V2?
Yeah, I do remember because I use it quite a few times. I do think that the improvements are great. And so even I saw the standard deviation and I thought, well, even my wife can use this for the class in the statistics. So this is going to, I'm still thinking about applications because I do teach creative thinking. So all my students do appreciate this tool. And I'm always telling them, remember to use this tool when and bring it to a company where you work in the future. So
thank you. Thanks a lot.
yeah,
I have to pay you, right?
this is you've paid me already. Just the fact that that I could help my students develop, because one of the things that still at universities they don't know is about the importance of online facilitation. So that is at least my university, and we have 80,000 students. They are really clueless about this.
So
but it works very well. So excellent.
It gives me an excellent transition because we're going to have a new pricing live in 2 days, a much more accessible pricing, because this was one of the blocker. I can share my screen. And why it is a good transition is that we're going to offer Stormz for free to all the, what I'm sharing right now. Yeah, I'm sharing the right screen. Yeah. I'm going to offer the new Stormz for free to all the students and the teachers.
Oh, thank you so much.
I like that.
Okay, so this is the price that's going to be live on Thursday. First of all, it's very important for me to do ethical pricing, because I hate it as a customer when I'm locked in. So you can upgrade and downgrade at any time. This is very important, especially as a facilitator. 1 month you have a workshop with 200 people, and another month you are on holidays, so you don't want to pay the same price. So you can upgrade and downgrade. When you pay, it's for 30 days. So this one is the Pro one is the one you're going to use the most if you'd like to use Stormz. You pay $50. And for 1 month, you can do an unlimited number of sessions with up to 50 participants. So if you do only 1 workshop, it costs you only $50, which is not a lot. If you do 2 workshops, each workshop costs you $25. If you use Stormz every day, it costs you nothing. So unlimited sessions and up to 50 participants. For those of you who do a lot of large group meetings, like I do, the technical limit for Stormz is 200 participants, 200 accounts in Stormz. But if you do large group, you can give an iPad, one for 3 person, or one for 4, one for 6. So you can really use Stormz for groups of 1,000 persons. The most I've done is 1,200 person inside the same room. So that's only $200. And you can do an unlimited number of sessions for up to 200 participants. You can downgrade to the free plan at any time. So, and then get back to the $50 if you have a workshop. We are a small team. We are not VC backed. So I always tell my user, if you love us, instead of downgrading to the free plan, you downgrade to the starter plan, or you even keep your pro plan. It's a way to sponsor us. But if you don't want, or you cannot, it's not a problem. You get back to the free plan. So that's the pricing. And the new thing is that student or teachers, you come back to me and we'll give you this plan for free. Of course, not for professional education, not for, how do you call that? Executive education. It's only for young students. I don't know how you say that in English. Voilà. I like to do a little round of questions or remarks, or in a few words. Yeah.
There was one question from I almost missed from Hector, is about if there's a co-facilitation, if there's a list of people willing to co-facilitate using Stormz. I think the Facebook group could be an option, or also the directory that you have Well, you have to.
The
report
the
system there.
directory is gonna
Disappear.
disappear and maybe come back later on in a different form. But the way to go to discuss with the community is the Facebook group, and Hector has just
just add in
posted
the
the
chat.
link. Yeah. It's also a way to, I always show in advance the new features and stuff like that. By the way, there is if you're a geek like me, you're gonna love what we are doing next, which is we are developing AI-powered features in 2023. The first one is gonna come very soon, maybe in February. And as it's very new, we develop that as kind of booster that you can play with and test and get back to us and tell us if you like it, how you use it. So it's like experimentation that we do using AI. There is a specific page for that. You can, if you're interested in being part of the first batch of testers, you can subscribe. I'm going to post that in the chat. We've done some tests, it's amazing. Some things that were totally impossible to do 1 year ago, because it's been 10 years I look at machine learning, especially for clusterization of ideas and stuff like that. And even last year, some stuff were totally impossible or very expensive or very hard to do. Now it's becoming very easy.
Alex,
There's Digi's asking if there's a LinkedIn group.
No LinkedIn
Stormz.
group, but feel free to share and repost. If you liked Stormz, if you like what you see, as I said, we have zero marketing budget. We're a tiny micro company. So we live and thrive on the word of mouth. So it would be really great if you liked what you see, just post a link to the new website with a little comment. This is absolutely what we need, especially now that we are releasing the new version. By the way, did you like what you see? Do you see the difference between Miro, whiteboard application, and Stormz? Do you feel that there is a use for it?
I like it. I think it's friendly to use, and you can go forward and backward to find the information. It's already written by the participants.
Thank you,
And
Liliana.
what I like the best is that anonymous, like the people can write with, but you as a facilitator know who's writing, but they don't know who is saying one or another thing, so they can have they can trust in what they're writing on.
Yeah.
And then it becomes some knowledge for everyone, not for only one person that can be.
So cool. Thank you very much for the feedback. Anyone else? You have the right to say that something that you dislike or you don't understand or it feels weird. It's
Alex,
all information is important for me.
I have a wicked question, if I may.
I like wicked questions.
It is, what is the main weakness of Stormz from your point of view?
Okay, so that's really cool because we had a lot of weaknesses in V1 that we have removed in V2. So now the question is a little bit more difficult. I'd say that the biggest weakness is that it is not a whiteboard, meaning that some stuff that are quite easy to do with a whiteboard, such as, I said the example of a user journey, you show the user goes here and then here and then here. You can absolutely not do that with Stormz because the paradigm with Stormz are this kind of Kanban board, Kanban board. So it's a little bit like a Kanban board. This is the paradigm that we have decided to embrace, and we have just make it a little bit broader. You can do rows and matrix and add columns and sorting stuff like that. But we have decided that this kind of board would be the board that would be defining for Stormz. And now it makes our strengths, but it also makes our weakness. There are some stuff that are not good to do with this kind of board, but there are some kind of stuff like diverging with hundreds of cards and sorting them, which are much easier to do with that. So the paradigm of this board is our biggest strength and at the same time our weakness, I would say.
Yeah, I understand it exactly. And I actually like this simplicity, you know, the more simple it is. And as Lady Anna said, this being user-friendly is the main thing here, at least in my country. Thank you for sharing.
By the way, everyone, I'm very accessible. I'm the CEO of a 3-person company. Okay, so you can send me an email at any time. You can connect me on LinkedIn. You can ask me stuff. You can send me a meeting so that I can show you how to do your next workshop on Stormz. This is the kind of thing that I like to do. So feel free to contact me. It will be a pleasure to work with you or to show you something.
I think that responds to Laura's question on the openness to demoing for other groups. And I would like to I mean, it's already been 90 minutes already. So it's when you're having fun, it really flies. But I would like to take a selfie. So please take a picture. Look at your camera, smile, open your camera if you like, if you can. So we can take a picture and show everybody that we had a very nice time here. Smile, wave to the camera, 1, 2, 3. And we got it. Perfect. So thank you for being here, Alex. As always, I love the energy. I love the experience that you have. I love the French accent as well.
Thank you.
Most of the time I can understand it.
So, most of the time.
Me too.
Yeah, it keeps, and you have to say, I mean, people from Europe, we have people from the United States, from Italy, from Kenya, from Tehran, from Tanzania, I think we had as well. So it was a very Mexico. So we had a very diverse group, and I think that's one of the great things about virtual facilitation, that it brings people together and we are able to connect. So please join Alex and the Facebook group. And you have also the Instagram. LinkedIn. Sorry, LinkedIn, not Instagram.
No Instagram. I already told you that.
Yeah, I know, but you need to. I want to freshen you up. You know, like become more.
You don't want me on TikTok.
You're on TikTok?
No, I don't. No, I will never do that.
Thank you.
You never know.
Great.
Thank you.
You never know.
Fernando.
Thank you, Hector, for the help joining. Thank you, right?
Thank
you for
you.
being here. See you in the next one.
It was great. Thanks.
Thanks,
And
everyone.
I love to see all your smiles. I like that. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Bye.
Nice to meet you.